Now, here on Espresso, we love to share stories with you that inspire a giving and nurturing heart, just as our friends at GSK have done with their Scarves for Schools project, which is a project that is intended to give schools or give scarves to children from underprivileged communities, especially during the winter season. So if you were thinking of getting involved in that and you want to learn a bit about knitting, here's all you need to know from knitting guru Roseanne Douglas.
This family health and wellness segment is brought to you by GlaxoSmithKline Consumer Healthcare.
Ready, steady, knit. Be part of the GSK Scarves for Schools project, proudly sponsored by MedLemon. It all began 2 years ago at the GSK offices with an initiative to make a difference. MedLemon inspired Mzansi to knit, and again, you are invited to knit a navy blue scarf so a child can study without being cold this winter.
For South Africa, I know your hands are itching to make your contribution to this wonderful initiative. But before you can knit a scarf, you actually need to know how to knit a scarf. And to show us the ropes today is knitting guru Roseanne Douglas. Roseanne, you've been knitting since you were 13. Why do you love knitting so much?
Because it's so relaxing. I can do it in front of the television because after all, sitting and doing nothing in front of the television is very boring.
And it's even better if it's for a good cause.
Absolutely.
So if I want to start with my scarf, what are the basic things that I need?
The first thing to do is to select your wool and then the appropriate needles. If you want it to go quickly, you can take a nice thick yarn like this and use a thicker needle. Otherwise, if you want a finer scarf, you would take a finer yarn. This is a double knit and that is a chunky. This one you would use a 4mm needle or maybe even a 4.5.
And these lovely scarves would be the result.
This one is in the double knitting and on a 4mm needle. And as you can see, this pattern, it's 4 stitches plain and 4 stitches purl.
What is the first step?
Well, the first thing you have to do is decide what stitch you want to actually use in your scarf. Choose something that looks the same on the front and the back. You'll notice all of these samples look the same both sides. These are all the same number of stitches cast on, but as you can see, they've come up in different widths. So making sure that your scarf is wide enough, you have to cast on more stitches for a pattern like this that pulls the scarf in than you would otherwise have to do.
For this project, each scarf should be 1 meter long and 40 stitches wide. Perfect for a primary school child. Navy blue looks great with most school uniforms.
Not being a pro knitter, I would suggest we start with a basic stitch.
The easiest one to do is this one. It's called garter stitch, and all you do is you knit every single row.
How do I cast on?
You put the needle through the first loop, pull your thread through, and you take the loop off the needle. Next stitch, through the loop, pull it through and off the needle.
What are the things that you have to look out for?
You need to get your tension right. I hold the yarn round my finger like that and hold the needle there, and that gives me a nice even tension.
So once your scarf is long enough, how do we end it off?
Whoever gets to the end first, we'll cast that one off.
I think it's going to be me.
Close call.
You can show me on this.
Okay, so now we just have to imagine that this scarf is long enough. And what you do is you knit your first stitch, and you knit your second stitch. And then all you do is you pull your first stitch over your second stitch. Don't pull it too tight, otherwise it's going to pull in.
After casting off, neatly sew away threads using a little bit of wool. What's more feel-good than mastering a new skill and contributing to a greater cause?
Roseanne, thank you so much. I think the bug has bitten me big time. So now that you know how, get your wool, get your needles, and get knitting.
To knit 2,500 scarves by winter, we need your help. Hop onto Espresso's website for more details and keep tuning in for more tips and tricks from Knitmaster Roseanne. Knit along so a child can study without being cold this winter. Support the GSK Scarves for Schools project, proudly sponsored by MedLemon.